But the work that I've been doing over the last 30 years has been centered around housing, economic development, and a lot of the work that I was doing, I realized that education and all of that stuff sort of tied in to what builds a community. And what really drove me towards really getting involved with the health equity work is my mom, who died from cancer, who lived on a paper mill landfill site that had basically had all types of chemicals that was buried there that had gotten into the groundwater. For years, she had been ingesting the toxic fumes that came from the paper mill in a chemical plant. And she died at an early age. My mom was 62 years old, but she was a very, very outgoing and healthy person. But all of a sudden, one day we found out she had cancer. And so doing the work that I was doing as it related to housing and all the other stuff, I realized that, hey, there's got to be something going on here in this soil. There's got to be something that's going on in this water, in the air that's impacting the people in our community. So I began to start looking at how does all these things connect together? The landfill, housing sinking, contaminated water and all that. And I realized that there, for all of the years that the paper mill had doing all of this waste and dump in the air and in the water, there had never been any health monitoring done in the community. So once the paper mill left, they left all of these basically byproducts in the soil, in the water, and everything, and people were still living on this land. And so I realized that the only way that we were going to be able to address this is to find ways to address not only the environmental issues that were happening in the soil and in the water, but how did that interface with the illnesses that we had, the high levels of cancer, diabetes, and other related illnesses. And so, the healthcare system in Port St. Joe was always sort of minimal when it came down to the Black community and access to the care. They really didn't have an active hospital that was there. But the fact is that people were dying and no one had ever taken the time to do the research to see if that was a relationship there. So when this opportunity came to really try to drill down on what the causes was and what some of the effects it was having on the community, I saw this as a great opportunity to work with two gentlemen that I have highest regards for, who are very, very good at this work. And I've learned a great deal from them. But my community itself is still in a state of despair. And so this work requires that, that I continue to do what I do in terms of trying to raise the level of awareness, that we get some health monitoring done in the community, that we do the things that can address these systemic issues. And I can tell you right now, North Port St. Joe is still in the same state it was when I came home 25 years ago, in that there has been a lack of investment in the community itself. There's the housings after Hurricane Michael were basically left in disarray, but they were before that, they were in disarray and decay. And we have high levels of mold in a lot of these homes. And about 14% of them now are uninhabitable. And so there has to be a relationship, a causal relationship between the health issues and the soil. And so this work has given me an opportunity to see and bring a group of people together in the community to find out that we're not in this alone. There are other people that are thinking the same thing. We just got to figure out how we can work together. So this work has given me the opportunity to build some collaborative partners and some coalitions with some organizations and people that I think that will be able to help us to address these systemic issues there. And what does health equity mean to me? It means dignity. It means choice. It means a healthy and safe environment in which to live, as well as having access to adequate health care. So you don't die from something like my mom died from without anybody giving her any kind of indication that this was an environment that you could actually die from cancer by just living in this community.